Hello, it's Adibzy again, and today I wanted to make a video for GMs for new lights or those who are conquerless. So today I'm going to show some tips and tricks and some GM footage of Proving Grounds. Now, if you don't have any good weapons, you can always check Banshee, which I recommend. You can also use your engrams at Shaxx and Zavala. What you're going to be looking for particularly from Shaxx is a good Riptide or a Blowout. Now, the Riptide that you'd be looking for is going to have lead to gold, and it's also going to have chill clip. Those are the two main important ones. The other rules aren't as important on the perks. I do recommend lead from gold though, so that you easily always have ammo on the rapid fire frame. Now, chill clip's amazing because one shot will slow enemies, but two shots freezes them. So that's definitely something worth having in your back pocket, especially when you're going to be doing harder content. It is pretty fly to freeze enemies on the spot when you need to. Now for blowouts, the reason I recommend blowout, it's easier to get than hothead. Now hothead you can farm in the GMs when it's available, but you don't always get the role, and it's a lot of work to farm for this particular role. Now what you're going to be looking for is Demolitionist, although I do have a decent role with Field Trip and Explosive Light, but mainly you want Explosive Light is the perk that you're looking for. Demolitionist is particularly for Warlocks. I mean, you're not going to need it probably if you're a Titan or a Hunter, but it is still useful and nice because grenade kills reload the weapon. That's why Demolitionist is really good. Also, getting kills with the weapon refreshes your grenade. You can see here I went to light.gg. You can also take a peek at all the roles that these weapons can roll with at light.gg.com. I'm sorry, at light.gg. If you've never been there before though, check it out. You can see the preferred roles. Obviously blue is PvE, red is PvP, and gold is theoretically good for both. Now mainly the Demolitionist Explosive Light is the role that you're looking for, but you can see here a lot of people also, Theory Crafters, like Chain Reaction. But if you scroll down a little bit further, you can actually see what the majority of Guardians are actually using on their weapons. Now, if you run out of engrams for Shaxx, you can always come over here and try to farm a Blowout as well with whatever engrams you have for Vanguard. The Hothead rolls with the exact same perks, so you can be looking to get that as well. Now I want to go over builds. For Warlocks, I really love using Stasis in GMs. I haven't used Strand too much in any of the characters. I'm not confident enough yet to do so. But you can see it with the Ozymancy gloves, you're going to be able to drop turrets left and right, and it helps out a ton in a lot of situations. So Stasis is really nice to freeze champions, to freeze enemies, for ad control. And it's also a great survival tool if you have to pop your super if you're the only Guardian standing in the end and you need to get some quick revives down. Now the mods don't matter too much. They simplified the mod system as of season 20, so you can kind of go through, read what they do. And there's a lot of good mods, so you can kind of tinker with it and see what you like best. Ozymancy will carry that through quite a lot. Now for Titan, easy enough. Solar Titan with Loreley's, that is my favorite. It has a lot of survivability. Strand Titan's also very strong. Now on the Hunter, I like going for the Void for the Invis, especially with Omnioculus. Now I'm gonna look here real fast at Night Stalker because there is a couple things I want to point out. The Trapper's Ambush is very nice because you can jump in the air and then dive down to go invisible. This also has a higher duration for invisibility. The other bit is Echo of Obscurity. When you get a finisher off, you go invisible. It's also very good for survival, especially if enemies are going up in your face. Now here's some footage of me going through Proving Grounds. We're going to load in and I'm going to show you a little tutorial. I just wanted to go through and kind of show the gameplay and the idea of what to do. There are varied strategies on how to go about various GMs, and there's a few different ways. I was so lucky. This actual recording footage is a very good example of what to do. So you see me here just off the start. My teammates are going left. They're pushing. This is what people used to do when this first came out, although you can also do what I am doing. It just depends on what your team's doing. I'm just going forward, just popping my Wish Ender just to get rid of the shields. I do have Wish Ender equipped for the anti-barriers. I have Aisha's Embrace equipped for Unstoppables, although I don't use it too much. And then I have Commemoration for ad control and damage. So you see me popping out a turret just to help with ad control, just to freeze some people. I take out the turret, but then I decide, I'm like, oh gee, I need to go over here. I need to go with my teammates. You should always be near your teammates, or at least grouped up. Everything in GMs is heavily based around teamwork and fire teams. So you see me making my way up here to them, and they're already working on the ads as well. So I come up here and I also pop Rift because I spam grenades a lot. which actually fortunately helps out the person in front of me. They got hit with a grenade, they back up, they instantly start regenerating their health from my rift. And then I start helping them with the champions. And then when you're not dealing with champions, you just kind of pick off ads as you can. And remember, any one of these ads could come up from behind. They could just randomly rotate, whatever. They can kill you very easily in this. So I like to get rid of as many ads as I can in these GMs. You can see it's just going nice and chill, nice and slow here. That's the thing about GMs too. I see a lot of people trying to rush forward, trying to push through ads, jumping into the enemies. Unless you're experienced in GMs and you feel confident and comfortable with that map that's on rotation, I would not recommend jumping into the fray. Then you see, I noticed my teammates were fighting a champion. I heard the noise. I saw the text. I heard the noise of the champion getting stunned. So I come over to help out with that, especially since I have Witch Ender. I do not like the seasonal mods for season 20. I think the pulse rifles are, I absolutely think the pulse rifles are dog shit this season for popping barriers, with the exception of a few exotics, maybe a few others as well. I honestly prefer Witch Ender. It just pops things very fast. Alternatively, you can also use Leviathan's Breath, which is very strong for unstoppables, and it's very good for the tank room in this GM. But once again, once we get rid of the champion, we're just kind of picking off people left and right here. Then another champion shows himself, and you'll see me here stunning him. And I'm just working with my fire team. We're just shooting together, staying together, and surviving together. Just to prove. Also, by the way, I wanted to mention this is an LFG. These are complete random people I'm playing with. No communication, no comms. They're familiar with what they're doing. Now, I wanted to show the tank room. Before you get to the tank room itself, you can see that we didn't jump in right away. You can see us picking people off at the top. Now, the important thing is to get rid of the Threshers. They will absolutely destroy you. And you can see Witch Ender also does really good damage against the Threshers, not Threshers, I'm sorry. You can see that Witch Ender does a really good job against the enemy vehicles, against the Scions and their little baby tanks. So you want to destroy the baby tanks from up here. Now you see me trying to get a shot off with Witch Ender. I have no angle here. Like, I just keep hitting stuff. So, you know, the two LFG teammates, they're taking care of it since my bow can't connect for whatever reason. Like a derp. Before we jump down, I do pop some turrets for cover as well to help assist. And also immediately you want to go for the snipers right away. They will delete you. You can see they pop the sniper on the left, and I assume they got the sniper on the right, but it shot me, so I turn around and immediately my focus is on him. From there on out, I am just shooting anything that is too close to us. Well, you can see how, like, a lot of these Cabal are way too close to us, so we're just kind of picking them off and working from the middle outwards. Also, you want to use the cover on the left and right. You can see me, I'm using that cover with that little like metal barricade. The thing about that metal barricade here, though, is you do not want to be too close to it. If you are too close to it, it will kill you. It will explode, or you'll get exploded rather. The damage will go through and it will kill you. So you can see I'm keeping my distance from it, and I'm also just, you know, working with my team. We're working on getting rid of that anti-barrier. Like, if we don't get rid of him, he will jack you up. The Colossuses are strong. And then from there, once again, we just pick off the ads one by one, and we're just working together. Now, those two with the marks above their heads, if you kill both those guys, it will spawn the next series of ads, which are 2 tanks and a bunch of Cabal, along with 2 anti-barriers. But right now, the major threat is anyone rushing us. So you see me, I was waiting for the dogs to come up. So we're popping the dogs, making sure that my team is safe from the left, and the teammate on the right made sure the right side was good. I'm running up for some ammo. You see I do this very carefully, and I try to use as much cover as humanly possible. And you can see me sliding and doing zigzags, and I do not stay in the air too long. Enemies will take you out if you're just floating in the air, especially as a warlock. The float is super slow, and they will absolutely wreck you if you're floating in the air caught. And then once again, we turn our attention to the other champion, which for whatever reason spawned late, but hey, whatever, free champion, so we're going to take him out. Now the next bit is the tanks. And typically you want to take a tank out as fast as you possibly can on this. The LFG teammates on the right, they took out the tank right away. And you can see too, if I was too close to that barricade, I would have died there. That's why I'm standing so far back. I'm unsure. Oh, and then I wasn't paying attention, get rushed by some doggos. And then I'm just kind of whittling down, working on this anti-barrier. The main reason is if I try to engage the tank on the left, he is absolutely going to wreck my world. So I want to get rid of him before I can actually fight the tank. You can see me using cover as well. And right there, I was a little too close, so I took quite a bit of damage there. That could have killed me if I was any closer to that. You see the champion, like my main focus right now is just getting rid of him so we can engage the tank. After he's out of the picture, then I check the right. It looks like they already got the tank, and I was like, sweet. Then I'll start working on this left tank. I pull out my heavy, and by the way, never ever be afraid to use your heavy. If you have to use heavy to survive, just use it. The main thing about more difficult content like GMs, raids, etc., everything, the number one rule is playing your life first. So you definitely want to make sure that you stay alive and don't waste revives, first of all, in GMs, if possible. It will happen. People do die. Like, don't freak out over it. Now that you can also see, I decided I was running out of heavy, so I saved some. And at this point, we can just primary it. I see that it's dead. The two teammates on the right went ahead and finished the tank for me. So since that is done, I'm just focusing on ads, and you just clear out the room. And that, in a nutshell, is the tank room. It's not that bad, especially if all your teammates know what they're doing and everyone works together. You can also see I am also trying to use stasis to lock down this anti-barrier. And from there, we're just whittling the enemies down nice and slow. We're not rushing anything. We're not pushing. We have plenty of time. We're doing really good time-wise in this GM too. Time-wise, for your first GM, I wouldn't say first GM, but GMs in general, you lose the ability to revive your teammates after 45 minutes. Now you can see here, I try to start most of my engagements throughout the rest of this GM just dropping in turrets. Whenever I have a turret, I will drop it in to start an engagement. It helps lock those guys down. You can see also that the Unstoppable didn't rush us right away. He got frozen. He was stun locked. He couldn't do anything to us. You see it also right there with the named enemy as well. He can't do anything. He's stun locked, so we can easily just pick him off and whittle his health down. If not, just completely destroy him. Now you're going to see in this room as well, I'm going to show some really good examples of what I was talking about at the beginning of the video in regards to different abilities for whatever guardian that you're choosing to play. Also, you see me going in here. It's also good to memorize or know where the enemies are. So I know from experience there's a sniper up there. So as soon as I get in the room, I'm already focusing at him. He is the larger threat of all the enemies that were currently on the other side of the room. And then I also prepare a turret as he's going to grab the orb and the door's going to open and spawn some butchers. The hunter decided to pop his super, which is completely fine, especially in this scenario. The butchers try to rush you. My turret would have been just as fine though, so they didn't have to use their super. Now, what I'm doing, I go in to peek the turret. Normally you don't want to rush in like this. The reason I'm rushing in like this is because I've played this GM. I know it well. I go around the corner and pop that turret. And once you run these enough and you successfully beat one, it gets easier as you continue going on. You get more familiar with what loadouts you like and what you don't like. So I wanted to show an example here where I completely whiffed everything on this sniper. I tried to melee him to freeze him. I whiffed it. The hunter is using invis to recover me. And this is also why invis is very good on hunters. That was just an example I wanted to show. He's able to revive me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the boss fight here. And you can see I have my bow out like a dingus. I should have had my Aisha's Embrace to help shoot those, but that guy in the back went ahead and made the fireballs go through the middle, hitting the wall, so it didn't actually hurt anybody. So I go ahead and throw out a turret. I pop my Rift because it helps regenerate my other turret, and I like to have at least one turret ready for emergencies. I pop out my scout rifle to help take care of the fireballs. Now you can dodge them, or you can hide behind cover to avoid the fireballs. But in particular, I like to shoot them because there's no way that they're going to hurt or kill anyone if you just get rid of them. And you can see here, I tried to shoot them. They were too close to cover. That's the other part of this GM. If you're too close to cover, damage will hurt you. Blast radius is very large on these. Once again, also as a warlock, you don't want to be floating in the air too much. You see the fireballs coming out. I decided those are the immediate threat because if I try to revive them before those are gone, I will die too, and we'll have two orbs right next to each other. So you got to focus priorities in here. Like if there's a threat, you got to get rid of the threat before reviving someone. Now, the bubble was popped quick and easy because one of the people brought in Skyburner's Oath. Skyburner's Oath will go through the actual barriers to kill the shield generator. You can see there as well, everyone is completely unaware about the unstoppable right next to us. And it got me. I was unaware too. All of us were not paying attention. And so we have a little bit of a sketchy situation. And the LFG rando did wonderful. That was a really good recovery. They froze it with a grenade, brought me back. We're able to get damaged. We're able to recover from that. And then he pops a super, which is a little bit of overkill, but like considering the situation, because that thing is so close to us that we completely ignored it, it's not unwarranted. That was good for survival, especially since they get stopped by being frozen. And then right there, I was jumping. You see what happens when you get caught jumping. I got blasted by the unstoppable, and then the boss sniped me with his big old void cannon. So that's definitely why you don't want to be caught in the air. It will kill you. And then from there, we just whittle down the champions and the ads. And then the guy's going to do the Skyburner's Oath thing. Generally, you want to hang in the front of the room for this because the fireballs won't even reach you. But this guy has Skyburner's Oath, so he's just chilling on the stairs, popping that shield generator. Otherwise, someone would have to physically go up there and get in between the boss and the shield generator. The boss cannot shoot you through the shield generator, so you can do damage to it. And when they do the fireball attack, you want to go underneath in the middle of that platform he's on to avoid this. It would be similar as well for the shield in the middle. And from here, we're just picking off the ads at this point. I popped my super to get rid of the ads because I see them more of a threat than the actual boss. Now, on the last bar of health, the boss will get very aggressive and start rushing people. But at the same time, the room is very large, so you have a lot of space to work with. And then from that point, I am just kiting the boss with my teammates. Now you see these fireballs, and you can see this is what I'm talking about. The guy goes in the middle to avoid them. Well executed. And then I'm caught in the air. I get hurt just once, so I immediately drop down because I do not want to get hit twice. Now the fireballs, I go ahead and shoot them, although he's going to do the same thing as last time. He just brings them in the middle, and they're not even an issue. And then from here, we're just poking, whittling the boss down. And I am closest. Whoever is closest to the boss, the fireballs will target. And you can see I'm just kind of dancing around here with the fireballs. They will automatically explode over a certain amount of time, so I just run away from them. And boom, that is Proving Grounds cleared. Now, if anyone would like help with GMs, I'm not sure if people would like to. If you would, I can definitely give assistance with GMs. Just let me know in the comments down below. I can set up some days where I stream on Twitch if you would like to, and we can try to run some GMs together and get some clears and adept loot as well. I hope this helps you out. And I definitely hope that it encourages you to try GMs and start learning them. It is a learning process. Usually you don't get the first one done immediately. You kind of have to go through and learn the GM, where the enemies are, and the best strategies for each room. And there's different strategies. So if you would like, let me know if you'd like assistance doing GMs. Let me know in the comments down below. I can set up some days on Twitch where we run people through GMs. If you like this video, give it a double. And if you want to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button with a little double as well. Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you next time.